Pearl Harbor is an American lagoon base on the island of Oahu, Hawaii. It's 8 miles west of Honolulu, Hawaii. It is where the naval fleet people stay in order to protect it and protect everyone who visits it. Pearl Harbor was created not long after they annexed Hawaii by the U.S. Pearl Harbor is like a big island with a military naval base in the middle, surrounded by the Pearl Harbor water that is near the land. Visitors can come and visit a whole lot. It is estimated people per year is 1.5 million people visit this historical attraction every year. It is very popular and is the biggest outbreak to us entering the war that we had originally been neutral in and now that we have been attacked, because you attacked one of us, you attacked all of us. The day that it was attacked was December 7th, 1941 at 7 a.m. because they wanted to catch the Americans off guard so that when they attacked us there'd be no repercussions and no retaliation at any point.
Why did the Japanese attack Pearl Harbor? There are many reasons that mounted up to the Japanese attack in the base of Pearl Harbor. Tensions between the Japanese and the U.S. had been building up since the Great Depression and had been doing so for about a decade. During the Great Depression in the 1930s, Japan wanted to solve its economic and demographic issues by invading China. This started in Manchuria in 1931, beginning the First Sino-Japanese War. The League of Nations would condemn Japan for doing this, and Japan rightfully withdrew itself from the organization, holding Manchuria until the end of the war. In July 1937, a clash at Beijing's Marco Polo Bridge would begin yet another Sino-Japanese war. And in December of that same year, the Japanese forces will capture Nanking, the capital of the Chinese Nationalist Party. After that, for 6 weeks, the Japanese began to slaughter and rape the Chinese people, which is now infamously known as the Nanking Massacre. Because of these atrocities, the U.S. began to enforce heavy economic sanctions on the island nation, which included trade embargoes on aircraft exports, oil and scrap metal, and other key trade goods. The U.S. also gave economic support to the Chinese Nationalist Party, which was attacked by the Japanese. In September 1940, Japan would sign the Tripartite Pact with Germany and Italy, officially pulling it into the World War. Though the Japanese never really participated nor really cared about what happened in Europe at the time, Tokyo and Washington negotiated for months on end trying to find common ground without success. War with the U.S. seemed inevitable for the Japanese. Because the U.S. had such a much larger military, a surprise attack would have been the best course of action for the Japanese. In May 1940, the U.S. made Pearl Harbor its main Pacific base for its fleet. This was because the Americans never really expected the Japanese to launch an attack on a small island 4,000 miles away from Japan itself. Admiral Yamamoto spent months on end planning the attack and aimed to destroy enemy morale and the Pacific Fleet in one foul swoop. And on December 7th, 1941, Yamamoto launched the attack, killing thousands of unsuspecting Americans and American ships with them. What effect did Pearl Harbor have on the U.S.? On the islands of Hawaii, there was an instant blackout. All troops were stationed to start digging in on every favorable invasion beach. Tourism ground to a screeching halt. Bars closed due to lack of customers, and a curfew was even put in place. The entire fishing fleet around the islands was grounded. Any civilian vehicles were strictly forbidden. Any people of Asian descent were suspected of being spies and imprisoned. The islands were effectively in lockdown. In the mainland of the U.S., Japanese Americans were rounded up and either deported or put in internment camps, where conditions were horrible for them. The once proudly isolationist country was now driven by war. The war quickly became a household reality. Daily life, from movies they watched to things they did, now all centered around war. The U.S.'s economy took a sharp upward turn as industry expanded, people bought war bonds, and taxes were raised. America was really ready for war.